This is more of a lighthearted segment, but we have finally figured it out. I've been noting lately that Donald Trump, and this is very low down the list of things that are of issue to me about Donald Trump, but it really bothers me the way that he does his signature. Doesn't seem to match his name, and it just irks me somehow. Call it Trump derangement syndrome. I don't know. And we now have, apologies, we have a handwriting expert who's going to tell us what it is that's going on and what it means. And I found that very fascinating. But first, what do I mean that I find it strange? Well, let's do a little flashback to past times that I've taken issue with this, and then we're gonna take this to the experts. Previously on the Luke Beasley Show. Why is the signature so long? What are all those letters for? Picture a little kid is told to do a signature and they just do a bunch of squigglies. What are all of those squiggles for? Okay, and some of this I do think gets pretty into pseudoscience, but it's hilarious to listen to. The first person who was posted by the recount, Shyla Lowe, is going to explain what the nature, the texture, the character of Trump's signature means about him as a person.
His signature as a whole, it looks like a barbed wire fence.
This is Sheila Lowe. She's been a forensic handwriting expert for more than 50 years.
A forensic handwriting expert.
The signature is like the cover on a book, and the rest of the writing is what's inside, which may be very different, the cover.
She's been studying Trump's handwriting and signature since the 1990s.
When you see a lot of very sharp, straight strokes, that tells you that there's a lack of emotionalism. It's more intellectual, somebody who lives in their head. But it's really very consistent with the handwriting that I've seen over the years. It hasn't changed. His writing, not talking about the signature, is a very square looking. And squares have to do with security. Now, we know, he's got more money than God, but he doesn't have the emotional security, and he's always trying to fill that up.
And there are many variables that go into analyzing a person's handwriting, including spacing, letter design, and movement.
Sometimes a person will sign their name and then underline it, right, for emphasis. And sometimes the line goes through the signature, which is one of the symbolisms in handwriting. If you slash through your signature, it's like you're crossing yourself out. Now look what Trump does here with the very last stroke of his writing. This is a P. It rises up over everything.
How is that a P? How is that a P?
Else, and it slashes back through his name, which is, to me, is self-destructive.
Now, what about Melania? What can we gather about the First Lady from her signature?
That she kind of emulates her husband's signature. The rest of her handwriting is very different, again, and it's much softer. It's very narrow, squeezed together. As we've seen, she doesn't want to show a lot of herself, and she wants to appear very strong.
Meanwhile, the Vice President's handwriting can tell you a lot about his past.
It shows, well, basically a very damaged ego. It doesn't look like it was well nurtured. I understand that he came from very difficult circumstances, and so now he has this very large signature to try to cover that up and to look like he feels stronger than what he really feels inside.
Oh, and as for Elon's signature, Sheila says it shows that he just can't be bothered.
All right, and we have another expert to play that is much funkier. This expert seems to be handling it with a little more tact, and there seems to be intellectualism connected to it. The other one gets into funky territory. But I don't know how much this is connected. I know there are handwriting experts, and they'll use handwriting analysis to catch serial killers when they write notes and stuff like that. So I get that is a thing. How much you can tell about how disturbed or destructive or insecure someone is with their handwriting, I don't know. I really don't. But let's move on now to a different expert who takes it to a very uncomfortable territory.
Handwriting expert.
Well, I started off, I'm an artist, I'm a painter. I also studied criminology and I also studied psychology. I happen to have taken a course in handwriting analysis. I was really naturally very good at it. I started working also as the consultant for the police department. I got a call one day and I had it was, "Hello, is this Michelle Drespold? This is Major Crimes." And I'm like, "Oh my God, whatever it is, I didn't do it. I promise I didn't do it." And they said, "Well, no, we're looking for a handwriting expert and we heard you're really good. Can you come down?"
All right, and then let me start this from the beginning to get her background, and then we'll look at the part I'm referencing.
Morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm Heather Abraham. Well, have you ever wondered about someone's true personality? Maybe they keep their emotions hidden or mask their true feelings. Well, our first guest is here to say that there's a lot you can learn about someone without them even saying a word. Michelle Drespold is a handwriting analyst and author of the book Sex, Lies, and Handwriting, filled with examples of juicy revelations, all detected by the way people dot their I's and cross their T's and other cursive styles. Michelle is here with us this morning to talk about a new chapter that was just added to your book in the second edition called Donald Trump, the Man Behind the Angles. Welcome.
Oh, it's so nice to be here.
I am so excited for this segment. Everyone who has met you here has said that this is just amazing what you can figure out by someone simply writing a sentence.
Good. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's expertise, and there's a lot you can learn from signatures. What she's about to say, though, it's
And so what did you find out? Can you give us a little snippet?
Oh, but of course. Well,
do
we have some graphics?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's look. I'd like you to look. This is candidate Trump's handwriting. This is Trump's handwriting from 2015, 2016. I want you to look at it, and first you'll see it's all angles. But there's something very, very interesting in this handwriting, and it's the very last letter, which would be the P. Now, doing a Rorschach test, do you see any image in that?
okay. Guess what image do you see, guys? What do you think she sees? What image? What is this P?
And if you're, and I can
It looks
tell
like
you,
a mountain or a hill
or it's a phallic symbol.
or a phallic
Or a
symbol.
phallic symbol.
Okay.
When,
yeah.
when you have yes,
A mountain or
The host is like, what did I get myself into? So, what do you see? Put that back up. What do you see when you look at that hump there in his signature? What do you see? I guess I see sort of a sharp angle, acute angle. Yeah, there's a little bit of a mountainous sort of vibe to it. It's going up higher than the other letters. Okay, what else do you see? Do you see the penis?
or a hill, I say.
Yeah, well, it is a kind of a mountain or a hill, and it's a phallic symbol. And I write about this in the book in a chapter called, Is That a Phallic Symbol in Your Handwriting, or Are You Just Happy to See Me? and when you see phallic symbols in handwriting, it means like...
I look around. I wrote a whole chapter in my book on this. I look around and I see phallic things always. I look around... When I read a book, I just see so many phallic symbols. Every signature is just the physical manifestation of someone's penis.
Look at me, big macho man. It's also somebody who often is obsessed with sex or is into unorthodox sexual habits. Now that was in some of Donald Trump's signatures, but his signature when he became president changed. And why don't we see what that looks like?
And this is something that does happen. Our writing changes over time.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go have to check my signature. Make sure there's not too many phallic symbols in it.
Writing may change over time. If you go through an emotional or physical change, you will see changes in your handwriting. If the emotional change is, or physical change is major, your handwriting can change drastically. If it's a minor change, your handwriting will change minorly.
And look at this. This is much different. I mean, we're seeing slimmer peaks, and I don't know how that's...
Well, they're angles.
Angles.
His handwriting became tight.
His sex life has gotten much much more erratic and erotic. Erratic and erotic. That's what when I see this, I see. It's really tough what I'm seeing in this. Because clearly he's undergoing physical. Do you know physical change is what I'm saying? In one location, there's a physical change. No, again, I'm not mocking. This is just a funny subject matter. With love. I say with love, everything that we're going through.
Later, when you have angles, and you can even try this. If you do this with your hand, do it, try it. Out there, try it. How do you feel?
You just wave it up and down?
Yeah, but angle.
It's there. It feels...
This is the best television I've ever seen in my whole life. All right, what is it that we're doing with our hand?
How do you feel?
You just wave it up and down?
Yeah, but angle.
It's there. It feels like angry.
Angry.
Yeah.
It's angry. It's aggressive.
Aggressive.
If you do curves, just try it with me. How do you feel?
Loose.
Loose, relax. So angles are tension, aggressiveness, competitiveness.
I'm not even, again, this is too funny not to make fun of, but I'm not even doubting that a lot of you can learn a lot from how someone writes their signature. I get what she's saying, totally. And I know that they research, it's going to come off like I don't see that, but but it's too good not to make fun of.
Handwriting became more aggressive as he became president, but something else drastically changed. Look at the P in Trump.
It got much more phallic.
I noticed that it changed. It's less phallic-like.
It's less phallic.
No. It got less phallic. Now the host's on board.
And it's more pointed. When you have a pointed P, it's called a pugilistic P. It means I want to get my point across. His handwriting became way more angular, bigger, notice me even more than candidate Trump. It's one thing that changed. We are looking, and now, if you see on the screen, there's another Trump handwriting. Mm-hmm. Now this one, which is the bottom one.
Okay, I think we get it. No, it's really interesting stuff. And I really am gonna have to go analyze my signature now to make sure that I'm not sending signals to people that I didn't know I was sending. But maybe some of the reasons these experts have outlined as to the nature of Trump's signature is what irks me about it. My real reason is just it seems to go on so long for his name. I guess it would make more sense if he's writing Donald John Trump, but I can't tell. But it just feels like he'll go so long down the page, and it just doesn't match with the length of his name. At least is how I see it. But also the way that he has these big Sharpies like a little kid doing their signature. It all just irks me. But I am going to admit, this is totally just because I already don't like him. I don't think I would have a problem with signature, if I'm going to be honest, if it were some random person. Share your thoughts in the comments, but be mindful of what you say. And if you want to support the show, get the members only bonus show, you can do it by clicking that join button below.